Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm so excited to be here with you today on USA Global TV and Radio as we are streaming live right now. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and it's my honor to be a host of this show. It's a very special show with a very dear friend of mine. We are going to be talking about different types of exercise regimens and also the fact that he has lost a huge, no pun intended, huge amount of weight, and he's doing everything the natural way. So today's topic is specifically finding your fit, exploring diverse exercise routines. Let's welcome none other than, drum roll please, Justin MIRIGLIANI to the program. Hello, hello.
Hello, Dr. JACALYN. Glad to be back.
Super happy to see you. Love the energy, the smile on your face. You as a whole, body, mind, and soul is our program today. So, Justin, for people who are just joining us, are you in the United States? Where exactly are you?
Right now, I'm in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Cherry Hill.
Live, yeah.
I love it. I love Cherry Hill.
Around
I'm
the
in
world.
Avalon, New Jersey right now. So,
yeah.
Fantastic. So before we get into the exercise regimens and routines and options, you and I have explored so many things. We're both, I would say, diehard workout people. You've had an incredible transformation, and there's all things, different ways that people can get fit, get into shape. Tell us about how you chose to do it.
See, that's the one thing I think that people have to look at. Every single solitary exercise regimen out there will work. I'm going to say that again. Every single exercise regimen that you see on TV, anybody that tells you about an exercise regimen, anything that you see will work, because if you're going from nothing to something, it will always work. See, that's how they get you. That's how they get you. Because in the beginning, you see the difference, because you will. If you go from nothing and you go from being overweight, or if you're not muscular, if you're very thin, and you do something, no matter what it is, it's going to work in some way, shape, or form. It beats nothing. But is it sustainable? And that's really what you have to look at when you decide what you're going to do. And also, I am not a PhD. I don't have a medical background. I follow the experts. I follow Arnold Schwarzenegger. I follow Jay Schroeder. I follow Mike Israetel. I follow people who are brilliant. There's our game coming up. That's the Checkmates website there. But I follow these people because they are experts in these fields, in the field of kinesiology, which is the field of movement, and hypertrophy, which is in muscle growth and also strength training. So there are many, many ways that are out there. The way I did it may not work for everybody. I started out, I was powerlifting. I started lifting, actually. If you want to go back to the original, I was lifting. I've been every body type that you could think of. And by the way, the whole ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph thing, forget it. It's gone. They don't even believe that anymore. That science has been shot. There is no more body type. I'm an ectomorph. I'm a mesomorph. I'm an endomorph. All that stuff is gone. They got rid of that. They decided, and that's what science does. It changes. It doesn't mean that we were lied to. It doesn't mean that they were deceitful. It's just that we learn more as we go along. So forget it. Nobody's stuck being whatever they are. It's not true. So I was every body type you could think of. I was rail thin up until my junior year of high school. And then I got into the gym and I lifted weights and put on about 30 pounds of muscle. And that's about all I could put on through college. I could not put on any more muscle. I got stronger, but I couldn't put on any more muscle. And then after college, I started eating more, and I did what's called dirty bulking, where I would eat everything. Like it wouldn't matter if it was cookies or if it was cake or if it was ice cream, anything that had calories in it. Because the long and the short of it is, for weight gain, you need a caloric surplus. For weight loss, you need a caloric deficit. There's no doubt about that. That's how it works. If you're in a caloric surplus, you're going to gain weight. If you're in a caloric deficit, you're going to lose weight. That's just the way your body works. So, unfortunately for me, what happened was I had in college what would be a a body that was built up, very muscular, is shredded with a nice six pack. But then as I got older and started dirty bulking, yeah, I got bigger. My muscles got bigger. I mean, I grew 20-inch arms naturally. I never took a steroid, never took any kind of testosterone or anything like that. Just whey protein. I took a weight gainer for a while, but no, I've never taken creatine. I've only taken whey protein, and I used to take weight gainer that long ago. I don't even take that anymore. I haven't taken that in over 20 years, but almost 30 years. But the problem was I gained fat with the muscle. So I was a big guy. I was 240 pounds, mostly muscle, but also had a belly. And I was like, well, this isn't good. And then I went through a really, really tough depression over the last couple of years. And about 2 years ago, I just stopped lifting weights, but didn't change the way I ate. And I wound up losing most of the muscle and gaining more fat. And to tell you that I look like Oliver Hardy from Laurel and Hardy, if anybody remember, you can look it up if you don't remember who that is. Some of the younger people probably don't remember who that is, but I look like Oliver Hardy. I was gigantic. I mean, I just had a big belly, and I had a lipoma that was big on my back, and it was just terrible. So what I did was, like always, go to the extreme, right? That's me. And I first thing went to intermittent fasting, and I would stop eating around 6, 7 o'clock at night, and then I'd eat it again until noon the next day. But I would work out in the morning on days off, especially, and I work out fasted because my body had no glucose in it at all to fuel me. So the fuel had to come from fat. That was really the only fuel source that was available. So I worked out hard. Now, I lost tremendous amounts of strength. When I was 240 and I was a big guy and had the belly, I was bench pressing almost 400 pounds. I was bench pressing 385. Then after not working out for about a year and dropping and then going through the weight loss, losing the 52 pounds, I've got my bench press back up now to 325, but getting back to the 385 is going to take a while. If I ever get there again, I don't know, without putting on the weight. But there's a saying in a lot of different parts of life, but especially in weightlifting, if you try to chase two rabbits, you won't catch any of them. So what a lot of people try to do is the impossible, almost impossible. I mean, I won't say impossible, but very, very difficult. And that is to lose weight and gain muscle at the same time. If that's your goal, that's really, really tough to do. That's called body recomposition. Because here's why. If you want to gain muscle, you have to be in a caloric surplus. If you're in a caloric deficit, it's hard to gain muscle. So my trick was I lifted heavy for me at the time, which was about 290 pounds. My bench press dropped almost 100 pounds. So I would go into the gym totally fasted and put up 290 on the bench press, maybe for 1 or 2 reps, and then I couldn't do anymore. And then I would just slowly work in other exercises and then slowly do a lot of cardio too. I really went heavy on the cardio, which I never did before. I went from being able to jump rope for maybe 3-4 minutes in a row to an hour and a half. I could jump rope now for an hour and a half. In fact, I did an hour today straight. I don't stop. And I'm not saying this to say that, I'm some amazing athlete or everybody can do this. It's just a matter of time and doing it over a period of time.
Wait, no, sorry, I got to jump in here. No way everyone could jump rope for an hour, an hour and a half. Are you kidding me? People, if you are out there watching or listening, that is an incredible accomplishment. I jump rope all the time, and I've never jumped rope for an hour and a half. Justin, please. You deserve it. It's not something everyone can do. It's extremely hard. And it is something that an athlete does. So you are an athlete.
I don't take orders from my body when my body says I'm tired. I that's what I tell my brain. I say, nah, your body doesn't tell you you're tired. You just keep going. You just keep fighting through. But there's also a limit to that too, Dr. JACALYN, that I think people have to be aware of is like, do I do that every day? No, because there's something called systemic fatigue. And if you do over exercise, and overtraining syndrome happens, it can take weeks to months to years for that to go away, depending on how much overtraining you've done. So you really have to judge that. You have to be aware of, I couldn't jump rope for an hour and a half every day or even an hour every day. If I do that twice or 3 times a month, that's about it. So,
But
you
just to
know,
do it once is a huge accomplishment, let alone have it as part of your regular routine. So, for people out there watching or listening, what would you share with them about using the jump rope as part of their exercise routine? Because someone might go, okay, I'm going to go tomorrow, I'm going to try to do an hour and a half, and then they're going to do 3 minutes and be exhausted.
You will. You will. You might only do 30 seconds and be exhausted, but that's okay because then the next day you do 40 minutes. I'm sorry. You might do 3 minutes and be exhausted. Next day you might do 4 minutes or the next week or next 2 days or whatever it is. And then the next month you might be up to 10 minutes or whatever, but go at your pace, go at a pace that's natural, that's not killing you. Because if you do too much, again, systemic fatigue is a real thing. So there's local fatigue and there's systemic fatigue. If I do chest day and I bench press, let's say 300 for a couple of reps, and I do pec deck and I do tricep work and I do a couple other things for the chest and triceps, just really a hour and a half workout, there'll be local fatigue. So that means my triceps and my pecs will be tired. But that doesn't mean that I won't be able to leg press the next day. So my legs aren't tired. It's local fatigue. But if I train too hard on chest and then the next day train too hard on legs and then the next day do too hard on cardio and then the next day do too hard on back and then the next day do too hard on whatever, then you run the risk of systemic fatigue, and that's when you're going to run into problems as well. So you gotta look at both. Everybody's different. What works for some might not work for others. Now, some people can't do the intermittent fasting that I did and work out. They get dizzy, they get tired, they can't. I was able to do it because I had a good amount of body fat that was fuel, and my body was eating it up like crazy. It took me 9 months to lose the 52 pounds of fat. Now, did I lose muscle with it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's virtually impossible to lose only fat. You're probably going to lose muscle as well. But the trick, if you want to try to keep the muscle and you want to lose the fat, there are two things. One is you got to keep your protein very, very high. And two, you have to lift heavy. You have to lift in the 5 to 7 rep range instead of 30 reps. Right now, depending on what you want to do, there's all the range really is 1 to 30 for rep ranges. That's what the studies show. That you could grow muscle anywhere between 1 and 30 reps. Now, does that mean that how are they better? Well, if you stay around the 1 to 3 range, what you're trying to do is put on mass. You're trying to build up mass. That's where you're really trying to put on thick, heavy muscle. And strength. That is what builds strength the most, is the heavy lifting, because it taxes your central nervous system. 30 reps of anything, if it's, let's say, 30-pound dumbbells, and I curl them maybe, yeah, but I would say 35-pound dumbbells I could curl maybe for 30 reps. That's going to fatigue me for sure. I mean, it's going to wear me down. But it's not going to build a lot of strength. It's not going to be a strength builder. It'll build hypertrophy, which is muscle growth. But muscle growth and strength can be two different things. So you got to decide. Arnold Schwarzenegger says it's like getting on an airplane with a pilot and just saying to him, "Fly." Where? What do you want? Do you want to get bigger? Does that matter to you? Do you want to get smaller? Do you want to get more muscular? Do you not want to get more muscular? Are you too muscular and you want to try to shed some muscle? Well, some people do want to do that as they get older.
Justin,
If,
I have a question.
sure.
I think this is a really important topic, and especially for women and as we age as women. So I believe that strength is key.
Yes.
So I want to be as strong as possible, but I'm just saying, newsflash, my waist isn't as thin as it used to be, but my stomach is so strong. I just did something, I don't know if you know what this is, but I went to the gym and you step up onto this, and there are these two black kind of pads, and you sit on them and you lock your feet in, and then you go all the way back, almost like completely back, and then you come up. I mean, that's super hard.
It
And
is.
I can use a 25-pound weight doing, on an incline sit-up bench and put it over my head. But the point is, I'm not as lean as I used to be. So for people out there who are thinking, I just want to be rail thin, they're probably not going to be lifting heavy weights. But for
No.
those people that we're talking to right now, they want to build strength, because everything I read is that as we get older, we need strength. Can we build strength and be a skeleton? I don't think so.
There are rare people that have strength that is beyond their size, which it's impressive, but it's very hard to do without muscle growth, is to have strength. But also there are people with very big muscles that aren't as strong as they look, because
Mm.
they do a lot of real high rep ranges, but they never lift heavy. They never go heavy. So they don't get the power. The central nervous system doesn't have the body's not used to it. I mean, if you want to squat 600 pounds, you're going to have to put 600 pounds on your back eventually. If you want to leg press 1,000 pounds, you're going to have to leg press 1,000 pounds eventually. If
But
you're going to
here's
bench
the
press,
thing.
yeah,
Here's the thing that I think is really important, because you've done these. I'm not saying 1,000 pounds, but you've done heavy, heavy weights. So in order to do that, you have to have the protein. You already shared that.
have to.
So we've spoken to bodybuilders, interviewed various people, and they're eating 6 times a day. They're eating 3,000 calories. They're eating 4,000 calories. And they're jacked up, they're bulky, but they don't have a big stomach. And I think the stomach is what really gets people. It's like, how do I get rid of this stomach? So is it possible to be super strong, to be cut, and not have that stomach?
You probably have to be right at a small caloric deficit to do that. So very small, maybe like 500 calories. So if you're eating 3,000 calories a day, you're burning 3,500. and most of it is going to be protein and carbs and a little bit of fats. Everybody has stomach muscles. Now, everybody talks about a six pack. Who's got a six pack? Well, not everybody has a six pack. Some people have six, some people have eight, some people have 10. It depends on how many muscles are in there. Everybody's different. So there's no such thing as one person, one type. There are people with a 10 pack, there are people with an 8 pack, there are people who only have a six pack. But everyone's got them. It's just that the fat is over top of those muscles and you can't see them. So the key is to burn the body fat. That's really the ultimate key. If you want to have a six pack, you got to burn the body fat. So in my opinion, and this is an opinion, is if you want to be super jacked and you want to be huge and you want huge muscles, but you also want a six pack, then you're going to have to start out by losing the weight and sacrificing some of the muscle size and getting smaller and getting thinner. Lose the body fat, get it down to something like, 20% or under 15%, somewhere around there. And then, or even lower if you can do it. And then start putting on the muscle after that. Because again, the saying, if you chase two rabbits, you're not going to catch either. So what do you want to do? Do you want the big muscles? Do you want to be jacked up and huge and have the stomach, or do you want to get rid of the stomach and not be as huge and then get huge later? I think part of the problem is people want both at the same time, and it's very hard to do. So the key is, I think you have to be, if you're going to try to do it at the same time, to be in a slight caloric deficit, but make sure your protein is extremely high and make sure that you're lifting heavy if it's huge muscles that you want.
Justin, I love that. Now, here's my next question. So we can go on Instagram specifically. I mean, it could be Facebook, anywhere, but Instagram, you see a lot of these people, their entire job is working out.
Right.
That's what they do. They're influencers and they work out. And you look, you're like, whoa, is she cut? Is he cut? But this is what they're doing all the time. They don't have a celebrity chef. They don't have, like, they're just, I'm saying they have a celebrity chef possibly, but we don't. We're just an average person who is working, right? You got a family, the whole deal. And then how many hours a day can we actually dedicate to this? So you and I are a little crazy, so we probably dedicate more than most people. But I'm 61 now, and I can tell you, and I've said this before, I've got a spin bike right here. I could put on the 20-pound weight vest and I could spin lifting weights, eating cookies at the same time, and I could burn off all the calories. I can't do it anymore. It doesn't matter what I do. I can't burn off the calories because as we age, things change. So what advice do you have for people out there who they're the weekend warrior, they're the New Year's Eve person, they're making all these decisions. I'm going to do this. They're going to do something crazy like what I just described, putting on a 20-pound weight vest and riding a bike and eating cookies. What can you share about doing something that is not in your nature, that all of a sudden you're going to disrupt your body and could potentially get hurt?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing that people don't realize is no matter how much you work out, you can't outwork out a diet. So Mike Israetel, who he worked at Temple, he's a bodybuilder and admitted steroid user. He talks about it. He's open about it. But he'll tell you, you cannot outwork a bad diet. So if you eat half a donut, 350 calories, and it's all bad calories, right? There's nothing really good. It's all carbs. It's all, and they're not complex carbs either. They're simple carbs. It's all sugar. So in order to burn that off, you have to run about a mile. That's half a donut. Okay. You have a whole donut. You got to run 2 miles just to burn off the donut. If you eat 2 donuts, you got to run 4 miles, which people do routinely. They'll eat 2 donuts at a sitting with no problem. And then they'll say, well, yeah, but I'm going to the gym later. Yeah, okay. But are you going to work out enough that you're going to burn off all the calories that you consume from the donut? Again, half a donut, you got to run a mile to burn off the half a donut. You got to run a mile to burn off half a donut. So I mean, that's where people hurt themselves. You make the muscles in the kitchen. That's really where it's done. It's what you eat. It's how much of it you eat. A lot of times people think, well, I could eat carrots. I could eat, 5,000 pounds of carrots a day or whatever, or 5,000, not pounds, 500 calories of carrots a day. Well, it's still calories. It's still more, if it's more calories that you're putting in than you're taking out, then you're going to gain weight, even though it's healthy for you. It's a vegetable. So the keys are, it's really comes down to what you do in the kitchen, and what you do in the kitchen is, it's got to be protein is really key. I mean, that's the number one macronutrient that you have to get, and then carbs are second, and then fats at the end. But you can't expect to just eat whatever you want and then go into the gym and say, okay, well, I'm going to burn it all off and then lose weight. You can't, because you're probably going to be in a caloric surplus. And the carbs are fuel. So the carbs get into your system, they get broken down into sugars, and then your body uses them for fuel. But it doesn't really use it to build muscle. It uses it to preserve muscle. Um, it's the protein that builds the muscle. So you should be getting, and there are so many different theories out there. I go for about a gram for every pound I am. So I got down to 199 pounds. I'm back up now that I put on more muscle. Uh, and I have a six pack now, and I have the obliques. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, but I've gained weight, and I've been able to keep my belly down and keep it strong. But I had to get down under 200 pounds to do it. And then I progressively started just jacking up the protein and the carbs a little bit, and then lifting heavy, and then also implementing the cardio that I do. Uh, Another issue that people could do to hurt themselves is too much cardio. If you overdo the cardio, you will eventually burn muscle. Your body will start to burn um, glucose in your system, the carbs that is broken down to glucose. Once it runs out of that, it'll start to burn fat. If it runs out of fat, it's going to start going into muscle, and you'll start to lose muscle mass if you overdo the cardio. So
Justin,
such a juggling act.
it is. It's a juggling.
It
So
is.
here's my question for you. When I started out working out, which is many decades ago, I was doing a lot of cardio. Then I started incorporating weights, but it was after the fact. Then I hired a trainer, and the trainer said, always do the weightlifting first and then do the cardio. And
Absolutely.
so tell our audience, why is that important to do the weight training first?
Because if you do the cardio first and you tire yourself out with the cardio, you're not going to have enough energy to really lift the weights the way you should. Uh, I, I'm not saying everyone has to do this, and I'm not saying it's right for everyone. But I lift to failure on every set of every exercise. So if I want to bench press and I put 225 on the bar, I will bench press it as many times as I possibly can until I cannot possibly do another one. I go to failure every single time. And then I try to do one more rep the next time, progressive overload, or I add 5 pounds to each side, or add 2.5 pounds to each side, and then try to get as many reps. So I might bench press. The most I've ever bench pressed 225 was 21 reps. So uh, if I did cardio before that, there's no way that I want to be able to get that in. So the weightlifting is the most taxing, and it's the one that gives you the strength. The cardio is great for your lungs. It's great for your heart. No doctor would ever tell you don't do cardio. But if you're into muscle building and you want strength, you don't want to overdo the cardio. I mean, look, all you got to do is look at people who are in track and field. They're real thin. They're muscular because they are rail thin, and you can see their muscles, but they're not big muscles, because that's not what their goal is, to be aerodynamic. They want to be as fast as they can. They want to run as hard as they can. They do tremendous amounts of cardio. Now, Ronnie Coleman was a world champion bodybuilder. He was, I don't think, 8-time Mr. Olympia. He was huge. He worked out 45 minutes a day. That's it, 45 minutes a day. Some of these guys talk about working out 6 hours a day. There are, unless you are chemically enhanced. There's no one who's going to be able to work out 6 hours in a day, every day, or even one day without getting hurt. You just can't do it. Your body can't do it. There is only so much that your body can take, and then that's it. So for when I bench press, I bench press 4 sets to failure each set. And then I go to incline bench press and I do 4 there. So that's 8 total sets of chest on chest day. And then I do work on my tricep push downs, and then I'll pick another tricep exercise. So it winds up being an hour and a half, and that's it. I can't go more than that. I can't go then jump on a Smith machine and then start pushing out more sets for my chest, because it becomes diminishing returns. You got to remember what you're doing when you're lifting weights. You're breaking the muscles down. You're actually doing damage. That's the good thing. You're damaging the muscles, because when they repair themselves better and bigger and stronger than they were before. It's like if you break a bone. When you break a bone and it heals stronger. It's tougher. And that's what you're doing. But if you break down, and you never give yourself a chance to recover, it's worthless.
Sounds like you're broken if you do that.
Destroy it.
So, yeah. So here's my next question for you. We have been to the gym and we see this. I'm going to say it's a guy, but it could be a girl, working on the biceps, set after bicep. And meanwhile, the rest of their body, the legs are like bird legs. So
Right.
what is there that you can give in terms of advice about a full body workout as opposed to just working on one specific muscle area?
Well, you should be doing that in every week. Should hit both all body parts twice. So you should be hitting your legs twice. Now, when I say hit your legs twice, what could it be? Could be squats, could be leg press, could be deadlifts, which work even more of your total body, but they're considered a leg exercise, leg day. But you should be doing that twice a week. You shouldn't be skipping legs and not doing them at all. Uh, you also have to keep in mind that exercises do hit parts of the body that you don't intend for them to hit as well. So you talk about bicep. Well, back day works biceps really, really hard. So if I do bent over rows with like 225 pounds or more, I'm really hitting my biceps hard and my forearms really, really hard. So I'm getting bicep exercises. There are some people who have gigantic biceps that don't do any bicep exercises or very, very little. But you want to make sure you're hitting your every body part. Try to do it twice a week if you can. If you can't, you can do it once a week. Now, here's where the caveat comes in. If you go crazy, and there are some guys that will squat and they'll do like 15 sets of squats with 450 pounds, 500 pounds, and they'll do again 15 sets. They might need a week and a half before they can squat again, because they've gone so hard. So it all depends on how hard you worked it. It depends on your body, how it was able to recover. It depends on what you ate. If you were able to eat food that helps you recover. Your sleep is probably the biggest key besides the protein. If you get terrible sleep, if you don't sleep, there's these warriors that say, I don't sleep. I'm up, I work out, and then at night till 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I just go to sleep and get up at 6, and then I go to work, and then I do whatever. I play, this sport or whatever, and then I work it. You're not doing yourself any favors. You're not. You're destroying yourself. It's not gonna. You're impeding your progress. So sleep is key, big key, and productive sleep. Not just like 8 hours is you want 8 hours. You want 7, 8 hours of sleep a night, uninterrupted if possible. I struggle with that myself. I wake up in the middle of the night, but you can't stop that. I mean, that just happens. But
I don't know how I got on Spotlight. Yes, I do, because I did it by accident. But Justin, here's another thing I want to have us discuss. So I've been traveling a lot lately and getting to the gym, on a regular basis. But what I've been doing is a full body weightlifting routine. because if I say to myself, well, I might only be in the gym twice this week, so I'm going to do a full body workout. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that can work. That's another strategy. That could be a great strategy. Some people do that 3 days a week, 2, 3 days a week, and they do full body legs, biceps. They do shoulder presses. They'll do the whole thing. Now, those usually take longer, so those are usually your long days of the gym because you're trying to hit every body part. So you're not going to get that done in 45 minutes, but
No.
it might take an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it was,
yeah,
2 hours. That's what I said to
yeah.
myself. So, what is your favorite body part to work out? Mine is my shoulders. I think
You like the
shoulders that are cut and defined is kind of sexy. But also, if you think about it, how many times you have to lift something over your head? So many times we don't have that shoulder strength. That's mine.
right.
What's yours?
Mine is chest. I've always been a bench press guy. I've always liked the bench press, and when I was growing up, I was real thin and didn't have a chest, so I always wanted to have a big chest. And um, shoulders would probably be my second most important one. I like you're right. Shoulders really make a difference. They change the way you look as far as how the body fits in clothes and what you look like on the beach and what you look like without a shirt on and wearing tight shirts and things like that. But some people will try to do this. I don't know if you've ever seen these guys in the gym that'll be fairly small, but they'll wear like a medium shirt so it looks like they're a lot bigger.
I've seen
Do you
I've
see that?
seen it all. I've
Yeah,
seen it all, my friend.
yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. So, as we come to this next portion of our show, let's talk a little bit about exercise routine. So, we talked about jumping rope, which I absolutely love. And
yeah.
here's where I really love it. I love lifting weights, like doing whatever it is. It could be a TRX, it could be a machine, and then jumping rope. So, I'll jump rope 100, 200 without missing, and then go on to the next thing. So, I don't know if that's called hit training, but I personally love that.
It is.
Sometimes people are very focused on one thing. So, for example, they swim. Every day they swim. That's great. Every day swimming, swimming, swimming. But there's no weight training. So maybe somebody is walking. That's a big thing. They're power walking, right? But there's no weight training. What do you think is a good combination of exercises or routines for someone who's in their 50s or their 60s or older?
Well, I'm 49, so I'm almost
You're a
50.
baby. You're look a baby. I'm 61. No, I totally respect you. No, I'm saying as we get older though, what
Yeah.
can we do so we can do a full body workout without injuring ourselves and at the same time see some results?
Well, for longevity, strength is probably one of the number one factors that keep you alive. I mean, because you can still be mobile, you could still the chances of breaking a bone drop dramatically if you're stronger. You can recover from illness better if you're stronger. So science has proven that weightlifting should be in everybody's
Mm.
workout routine at least a couple times a week. Even if you can be 90, it doesn't have to be 150-pound dumbbells. It could be 3-pound dumbbells. It could be 1-pound dumbbell, and just use them and do some reps with them and get the muscle tone. You lose about 3% per decade once you hit 40
Mm.
on average. Scarpini, I think, is what the term is what it is, and that's just on average. That doesn't mean everybody does. That means that that's what you lose if you don't do anything. So the only way to stop that, or at least slow it down, and you're not going to stop it completely, is you're going to have to lift weights. I mean, you just have to. And I get people who fight me on this all the time. They're like, "Yeah, but I walk." Yeah, okay, that's not bad for you. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's good. It's good for your cardio. It's good for your heart. It's good for your blood pressure. There's no doubt about it. And you're burning calories. No argument there. But when they say, "Well, I don't want to get big," you're not. I mean, are you really? Does anybody think that a 75-year-old lady who has very little testosterone in her body is going to all of a sudden grow to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger by lifting weights 3 times a week?
It's
It's
not
not going to happen.
possible.
It's
It's
not
not
going to happen.
possible. It's not.
Like, I don't want to get big. You're not going to get big. You're not going to get big. If you want to get big, you'll get big. You'll do what needs to be done to get big. And that's going to be an increase in food intake, especially protein, and lifting heavy. But if you lift light and you lift, and you eat normal and you eat good food for you, you're not going to have that problem. You're not going to grow and become gigantic. I mean, this idea that people are going to all of a sudden be massive, you don't get massive unless you want to be massive,
Right.
muscle wise.
Now, here's another thing I want us to explore. I used to be a trainer for something called Super Slow, and it was a 30-minute all-encompassing workout for executives or whomever. They had 30 minutes. They come into the gym, and so the whole premise was, let's say they're getting on the leg press. Instead of doing 4 sets of this or 5, 3, they do 1 set. So we load up the weights, and they sit back and they press their legs out super slow. And when they got to the point where their knees would lock out, they would hold it there without locking them out and then come back. And by 6, 7, 8 reps, they were done. They were toast. And they got that full body workout in 30 minutes. What are your thoughts about that as a good way for someone to start? Now, I'm going to answer the question, but there could be people out there saying, you know what? I'm afraid of heavy weights. That turns me off. I'd rather do much lighter weights and more sets, but you're going to get a different outcome, I think. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you will. You'll get a different outcome. You're not going to get much stronger if you're lifting 30 reps. If it's so easy for you that you're banging out 30 reps or 40 or 50 or 60 reps, that's not going to give you strength. The strength is going to come when you stay within probably the 12 to 15 rep area. If you want to get really strong, you're probably going to stay within the 5 rep area, and if you want to get like really jacked, 1 to 3 is where you want to stay. So that slow method, but see, you mix things in too. That's another thing. There's no one right way. There are many ways to grow muscle. They're learning now that stretched is probably one of the best ways to grow muscle, to have your muscle stretched. So, for instance, instead of bench pressing with a barbell where it stops at your chest, you can bench press with dumbbells where you can go below your chest. You could actually bring your arms almost behind you and hold it there for 2 seconds and then drive it up. So on the eccentric, drive up and then come back down slow and then stretch. So that's one of the things that science is looking into now, that they think muscles that are stretched when you exercise them, they actually grow more than we thought. So that's a pretty neat thing. So again, how do you do that? You find ways to stretch better. So like I said, instead of a barbell where you're pulling it down and the barbell can't go past your chest. Once it hits your chest, that's it. But with the dumbbells, you come down almost behind your, get them almost level with your chest and below, right at your armpits, and then drive it up. And then drive it up fast, come down slow, drive it up fast, come down slow. I do sometimes do some of the exercises you just talked about, where you isolation, they call it isolation exercises, where I'll do isolation curls, where I go very slow with a very light amount of weight and just go real slow through the entire process and then down. I do those on days where I have already lifted heavy that week and I could tell that there's fatigue that's setting in. So I tax my muscles another way. Um, there's no right or wrong. It's everybody's different. Even the exercises. Somebody might say to me, well, Justin, I bench press and I don't get anything out of it. I'm not sore. I don't grow any muscle. Nothing happens. It doesn't work for me. I'm different. If I bench press, my chest gets really strong. I don't have a good lower chest. My lower chest doesn't grow much, but my middle and upper chest, upper pec and middle pec, they grow fine. But somebody else might say, no, it doesn't work for me. I got to do push-ups, or I got to do, I got to use machines. It just
Yeah,
depends.
I totally agree with you. I want to talk a little bit now about the plank. A
Mhm.
plank is something anyone can do anywhere, right?
Correct.
We're going to talk a little bit about it, but it's so good for increasing your overall strength. And some people can't do a plank, by the way. So I would encourage everyone, if you don't know what a plank is, we can't demonstrate right here, but you could do a plank on your elbows and your knees, your hands and your feet, your forearms and your feet. And I find that that is a great way to really strengthen your entire body. And then what I like to do is I like to put my feet into the TRX and do my planks that way. And I can do seesaw. I do all different kinds of things. But what is the value of being able to do a plank?
Well, I think it gives you a tremendous amount of stamina in the stomach area. And the stomach muscles get a lot of activation when you're doing that. One thing that you don't do and is impossible, and it's been proven by science, is spot training. So if you are overweight, if you have a big belly, planks will help you lose weight all over your body, but they're not going to specifically target your stomach. So people, that's another thing, like, oh, I'll do sit-ups or I'll do planks or I'll do this, and that will kill belly fat. It's not how your body works. Everybody's body's different. So for instance, for me, I might lose fats in another part of my body. Let's say I never had fat legs, but let's say my legs were fat, and that might be the first place that my body would burn fat, is from my legs, even doing planks. You might say, well, he's doing planks. How's it burning fat in his legs? Well, because you're burning calories, but your body, spot training doesn't work. So in the 70s, we thought, oh, well, what you do is if you want a nice 6-pack or 8-pack or 10-pack, you just plank, or you do crunches, you work the stomach, and that will burn off belly fat. Well, we learn now that that's not true. It doesn't burn off belly fat. When you burn fat, your body decides on its own, the way it's created, not your decision, God's decision, how your body was built, where the fat comes from first. So if gluteus maximus is where the weight is, and you do planks, your rear end is going to get smaller because you're burning calories. Even though you're not working your rear end, you're working your stomach. People just have this idea that that's where it works. Now, does it strengthen the muscles in the stomach and in the oblique area? Sure, of course it does. But it doesn't burn the fat from there first. Your body decides where it's going to burn the fat from.
Justin, thank you so much for that. I want to talk a little bit about fat. I really don't want to, but we need to. What about visceral fat, which is fat that is dangerous for your body, right? It's you can, I think it's called brown fat, but you can see it. And I personally, I don't know what the difference is between visceral fat and cellulite or regular fat. Do you have any information on this?
Subcutaneous fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of fat. So subcutaneous fat is right below the skin. So that, and then the visceral fat is the dangerous fat. That's, especially for men, usually piles up in the stomach. That's where men usually get it. That's where I got it. That's where I had a big belly. And I actually, when they did a CT scan, I had fatty liver. So
Mm.
there was fat in my organs too. So it's not just fat that you can see. There's fat inside. When I
Now,
had my
my
surgery,
question.
because
Sorry, question about your, so we're talking about you. So when you had this stomach, was it a hard stomach where you could punch on it and it felt hard, or was it kind of like blah, 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 like loose skin? How was it?
it was semi-hard but big. Like you would see it through my shirt. Like you could see the protrusion through my shirt. Now my stomach's totally flat. You can't see.
Yes, I love
Yeah.
it.
But it was kind of hard, but because remember, I was still lifting at the time for most of it. So I was still really strong in the core, which for me as an ostomate is not easy because I have a pretty serious defect on the lower right side of my body. I have a hole in my stomach, essentially, in my core.
So
So
with that hole in your stomach, how did that impact your stomach muscles? Were they taken out? Were the stomach muscles still there?
stomach muscles are still there, but I wound up with a hernia, which every ostomate gets a hernia. They
Can you
tell me
describe to our audience? They might not know. What does that mean?
So a parastoma hernia is when you have an ostomy, a colostomy, or in my case, an ileostomy, and there's also a urostomy. Somebody who had their bladder removed needs a urostomy, so urine is collected. So that's where these get their name. Ileostomy is I don't have a colon. I have an ileum, and they brought the ileum to the surface of my stomach, and I have a bag. So instead of a colostomy bag, I have an ileostomy bag, and that's where my stool is collected, and then I dump the bag, and that's it. Well, the odds of getting a hernia there are virtually 100%. My surgeon told me that flat out. The odds of getting a hernia there in your lifetime are virtually 100%. Is it possible that somebody could get by without one? Sure. That's freak. Now, what could cause a hernia? Well, what that means is the intestine that's there, the ileum, the small intestine, pops through the hole that they made to make the stoma, and it bulges out. So I have a little bit of a bulge there. It looks like maybe like a baseball next to my stoma, which you would be able to see. And if you look at from the side, if you look at me from the front, it's kind of hard to tell. But when you look at me from the side without a shirt on, and if you're looking at and seeing my bag, you could see it a little bit. It's there, but you could get it from standing too long. You could get it from coughing. You could get it from sneezing. You could get it from laughing. You could get it from picking something up off the ground. You could get it 8 million different ways. So for me, the choice was, look, if it's almost a guarantee that I'm going to get one, why not do it and have fun getting it? I mean, why would I, say, oh, gee, I tried not to lift weights and do anything to save myself from a hernia, but I got a cough and now I'm stuck with a hernia. So, I know a lot of ostomates are afraid and they say, I don't want a hernia. Well, nobody wants the hernia. I don't want it either. I don't like it, but it's not a disaster. I mean, it's not horrible. It doesn't cause any tremendous damage. And if if it starts to become troublesome, you could have surgery to fix it. Now, it's not easy surgery, and it's the rate of it coming back is pretty high, but I mean, that's just what you have to face if you have an ostomy. There's just no choice. It's not like you can avoid that in any way, shape, or form. So, the question about, what can you have stomach muscles? I can't have a six pack. I could have a 5-pack, and that's what I have. I have a hernia on the other side that blocks. You can't see that muscle there. That muscle's there. It's just colored. That's all. But I have obliques. I have the 5-pack, and I have what I'm able to have based on the surgery that I had and what my body's built like. I mean, I can't change that. If I didn't have the bag, then I would have a 6-pack.
Justin, I think you just touched on something that's really important, and thank you for your honesty as always. But sometimes let's say we're watching Victoria's Secret runway show, right? We look, everyone's a skeleton, everyone looks great, maybe that's not possible for us, right? But we start starving ourselves or running 10 miles. People do this all the time. I've done it, but it's not possible for me. So, what can you share with our audience about realistic expectations about one thing is having a healthy lifestyle, and the other thing is about trying to be something that you're genetically not able to be? Where's that line?
There is a line, and most people are not genetically able to do certain things. There are genetic limits to people. Um, like I said, I got the lottery. I hit the lottery with biceps, with arms. I was able to build. I have probably 19-inch arms now. They bounce between 18 and 3/4 and 20 inches. To do that naturally is very, very, very hard to do. You have to really be lucky and work hard to do it. I mean, there's no doubt that hard work goes into it, but most people will not get 20-inch biceps without taking some kind of, they call it gear now, but it's steroids. Um, I got lucky. Other people, it's the chest. They have a massive chest. It's like, how do you do that? How do you get the chest to be so big? That's their genetics. They just have genetically, they're a freak. They're able to put on tremendous pectoral muscles. Um, somebody who is able to get down to under 10% body fat. Now you're talking about, again, people who are either genetic freaks who have hit the lottery big time and are just so lucky? And do you want to live your life where you have to think twice about putting a cough drop in your mouth because that's got 10 calories in it? And if you have a few cough drops in a day, if you have a cough, that's 30 more calories you put in your body. Or do you want to have to worry about how much dressing you put on your salad because all those are calories? So you want to be 4% body fat? You want to be 5% body fat? You know what a lot of people do? I know one. Do you remember the wrestler, the Ultimate Warrior? Remember how
Yes,
ripped he
yes.
was and how shredded he was? You know what his dessert was? He would go and get a cookie, crumple it up in his hand, sniff it, and smell it, and throw it in the trash. That was his dessert because he couldn't put it in his body. He wanted to be 290 pounds and be 5 or 6% body fat. Guess
It's
how you do that?
Here's what I want to close out the show with, because I think this is really important. As we mentioned earlier, some people, their career is their body. This is what they're doing. But for most of us, that's not that. We have
No,
something else that we're doing. We've got relationships, etc. So you have had an incredible transformation. You had major sacrifice. I mean, you were going for a world record for bench press. And so you kind of sacrifice that, right? To
I
be
did.
healthier.
I did.
So what can we leave our audience with today in terms of making good choices for their own body? Not everyone's going to go see a doctor. Not everyone's going to go see a coach. People are going to, January 1st, people are going to be at the gym. What can we leave our audience with as something, as a guideline, a foundation to build upon for them to change what they're doing today for the good of tomorrow?
I think the biggest thing is to push yourself to do a little bit more all the time, just a little bit more. If you want to, if you start out and you curl 3 pound dumbbells and you get 5 reps out of it and you're exhausted, put them down. That's it. All right, you're done. You're done. That's it. But then the next week or 2 days later, whatever, give yourself a couple days off, grab them again, do them 6 times, put them down. Progressive overload. Just try to keep working, keep going at it, keep getting better, keep getting stronger. There are people in their late 70s and early 80s that actually get stronger for powerlifting competitions at that age. But that's progressive overload. You got to keep going. What a lot of people do is they go to the gym, they do, let's say, 100 pounds on the bench press 10 times, and they could do another 10, but they don't. They're like, well, I did 10, I'm done. And then they did 10 more, and then they do 10 more. They do 3 sets of 10, and they think they got a great workout in. Well, no, you didn't, because you didn't push yourself. You got to push yourself. If you don't push yourself, the body's not going to grow. They all grunt and grow. That's a saying in a gym. Grunt and grow. You have to grunt and grow. If you don't, you're not going to grow. But that doesn't mean you have to kill yourself either. You can find that happy spot where you lift, you get a little bit stronger, and then you relax, give yourself a chance to rest, get a little bit stronger the next week, progressively build it up, and keep it up. Do things that are maintainable. I will tell you right now, the before and after photos, I've actually seen how that's done. I can blow my belly up like I'm pregnant. I could put air into my belly and take a picture of me with a gigantic belly and make it look like I'm like a pregnant woman. And then 2 seconds later, I could suck that in and have a 6 pack. It's there are a lot of smoke and mirrors with this. So what you see in the magazines, they don't show you what they do to make that happen. These people don't look like that all the time. And the actors and actresses that look great in the movies, they work out very hard for a very short period of time, for months, but they cannot maintain that. You got to do something that you can maintain. Because if you work out and get in great shape for 3 months and then you stop doing it, you're not going to be in great shape 3 months later. You're going to lose it all. So you got to find something that you can maintain. If you don't, then it's over.
Justin, how long does it take for muscle mass to start to shrink? I think it's 2 weeks, but what are your thoughts?
Um, 2 weeks, very, very little, not noticeable once, but some shrinkage. A month, maybe a little noticeable. You start going over to that, 2 months, 3 months, pretty noticeable. But
You
you know
got to
what's
start
great?
over again, though, right?
Yeah, but you know what? Muscle memory is a real thing.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a real thing.
It's very
Muscle
true.
memory, that muscle will come back a lot faster. And newbies too. That's another thing that we could get that in another show sometime. Newbie muscle growth. If you're just starting, you never lifted before, you're a 16-year-old kid and you're just starting to lift weights, you'll grow dramatically like you've never seen before. And you will never get that again. That's the one time in your life thing.
It's a lottery.
Yeah. It's a one time.
I want to close out with this because I think this is important also. So I mentioned earlier about compound exercises. When I'm bench pressing, I bench press the first, whatever, 8, 9 reps with my legs in the air, 3/4. So they're like this. They're not totally straight. And then when I'm finished, I'll hold the bar straight up and I'll do just leg lifts for 10. So it's working other parts of my body. And then I do a third set the regular way, but still my legs are in the air. So I'm working my core at the same time I'm bench pressing. Then I'll put the bar down, I'll move to the end of the bench, I'll put my hands here and I'll bring my legs in and out, in and out. So I'm working my core. So I'm
Yeah.
never not working something. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So when I bench press heavy, I wait 3 to 5 minutes before I do my next set. So in that 3 to 5 minutes, I go to the abdominal machine and work abs in that time. So I'm resting my chest, but I'm working my abs. So I'm not wasting time. I'm not just sitting there watching something on the phone or talking to somebody. When I go to I have a home gym, but now I joined the commercial gym and I have my ear pods in and I'm in my own little world. But as Dr. Jacqueline said, that's important. 2 hours in the gym is not equal to 2 hours in the gym because somebody could be in the gym for 2 hours and talking to people and resting and doing a million different things and not getting a good workout in, and somebody else could be working out for 2 straight hours because they're bench pressing. In between bench press, they're working their core by hitting the abdominal machine. Then they go back, they bench press again, then they hit the abdominal machine again, then they finish with bench press, they do incline press, hit the abdominal machine again, then they work triceps, hit the abdominals again. So, that 2 hours is a lot different than 2 hours of drinking, power drinks and talking to the girls and, just playing around on the phone or doing whatever. The 2 hours isn't always equal to 2 hours. You don't walk into a gym and become stronger and bigger and faster and a better athlete because you walked into the gym. You have to do the work. It's like you don't go to a library and learn because you sat in the library. You have to read the book. You got to open the book. And that's the same thing here.
Yeah, it's so true. And by the way, there are people out there who are using the gym to get out of the house, right? It's a socialization
Sure.
thing. I see
And that's
women put all
okay.
the makeup on and they're like, yeah, okay, cool. That's your thing.
If that's
But
what you
other
want to
people,
do.
like, that's not who we're really talking to today.
No.
That's not who our audience is. Our audience is someone out there who wants to change what they're currently doing so they'll be stronger, they'll be leaner, that whatever it is that your goal is. So I hope that you've enjoyed this show. We've gone way over, which I love. We always have such a good conversation.
Yeah, it's fun.
Justin, what is the best way for people to reach you? And what is coming up with this event that we're going to be looking at a promo for very soon?
Yeah, I can't believe we're getting so close. I mean, I know it seems far away, but in August 23rd, 2025, because of my situation with the ostomy and because I had ulcerative colitis, we're raising money for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and for Rolf Benershka's Embracing Ostomy Life charity out in San Diego. And we're doing it with an NHL celebrity hockey game. So far, again, schedules permitting. I have to be upfront about that. These people are very high profile people, but Mark Recchi is on board right now, Rod Brindamore, possibly Kevin Dineen, Brian Propp, some really, really big names in the Philadelphia hockey area and around the NHL will be there. Lauren Hart will be there. We're gonna have Lou Nolan possibly announcing, and just an amazing event. 700 people will fit in the restaurant, and 1,000 people will fit in the rink. And I said, and I say this every show, I want 700 hugs in the restaurant and 1,000 hugs at the rink because it's going to be a celebration of life. It's going to be a celebration of changing lives and making lives better, because we have the ability to do it. And the way we do it is with money. And I just want to be clear, if there's anybody out there who has a company, works for a company that wants to be a corporate partner, not sponsor, corporate partner, I want to give you 4 to 10 times your return on investment on any kind of partnership that you decide to share with us. And if you sit down with me, you can reach me at justin@checkmatescharity.com, or you can call me at 610-324-5545. You can be a part of this event. And that's our goal, is to give you 4 to 10 times return on investment for what you invest into Checkmates. And not only that, it's a tax write-off. And not only that, you're helping people who have debilitating diseases, and also people who have an ostomy that aren't as lucky as I am and able to do the things that I can do.
Justin, thank you so much. Tell us what we're going to be looking at with this video we're going to be sharing.
So this is one of the games that we did a few years ago with some of the former Flyers. It's the game and the post-game dinner. Not only do the players play with us, but they also come back and they have dinner with us, and they sign autographs, and they'll talk hockey with you. And even when the night's over, half of them stay until the place closes down, because they love it. I mean, to them, this is like utopia. I mean, to be with hockey fans that want to hear these stories, I've been there till 3:00 in the morning with some of these guys, just amazing people. And the video that we're going to watch is one of the games that we did, just a tremendous one. And the one coming up next, going to blow this out of the water. So I hope you like what you see.
Stay tuned. Super exciting. All right, here we go. We're going to watch this video, and then we'll come right back. Stay tuned for this. Don't go anywhere. Watch right now, and Justin and I will be right back.
Hey everybody, I just want to tell you how thankful I am that you came out tonight and helped us out on a very special evening. Crohn's and colitis are terrible diseases, and they affect a lot of people, not only in the Delaware Valley, but all over the world. And hopefully we can find a cure someday.
Nolan here with you at the Checkmates versus the Flyers alumni. We had a great time this afternoon. Game was close, and we're all here for Checkmates Charities, which is the real reason that everybody's here, not only the players, but all the fans that were here. It was a great day, and we're really happy to be here.
It was fun to be out here at Northeast Skate Zone because the Checos were a pretty good team, and so we had a lot of fun with the charity. And it was good because they took it easy on us old guys. So we had a good time. So anytime you can do something for charity, and I know a couple guys on the other team, and just be on the rink, we all go have fun.
Good times go. I'm either gone in an instant or here to the bitter, and I never know what I got.
I want to thank my family for all that they did to help me get through this, and there's a lot of planning that get done. It has to get done. I want to thank Nick's Roast Beef and Common Avenue for all they've done. Dr. Prieto for saving my life and finding the disease and treating me for so long. And the Flyers organization for all they do to help us raise money every year. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
I love that. So inspiring, isn't it?
It was a lot of fun. This one is going to demolish that one as far as how fun it's going to be. I mean, we're talking about NHL Hall of Famers. We're talking about some hot Joe Conklin, the sports comedian, is going to be there. And it's just going to be an amazing night.
So how do people register?
I didn't set it up yet. We're going to get that set up probably just before Christmas. So if people want to buy it for Christmas gifts, but I'm selling tickets for $70. Open bar for 2 hours.
Oh,
so you get the game, you get the celebrities, you get the open bar for 2 hours, you get a buffet. $70 a head. Yeah,
you got to get that link out. Come on, get it out, and let's put it out there so people can start registering. I think you're going to blow it out. It's amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, that music is so uplifting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, my friend, it's been another fabulous episode. I really appreciate you. We'll be back again next week on Monday. Yeah. So thank you to everyone, and thank you to you. Last words as we close out tonight for someone who's thinking, okay, I'm going to start doing something, but I'm a little lost.
610-324-5545. Give me a call.
Drop it in the chat.
Drop it. Yeah, I will. I'll put it in right now. Give me a call. I'll talk to you about it. I'm not going to charge anybody for this. I don't do this for a living. But I can help you. And I can help you, and I can prove it because I've done it. I got the pictures to show you that I can do it. So it's not, again, I know Dr. Jack gives me a lot of credit, and I appreciate that. But to be honest with you, it really is. Everybody's got it in them. It's just someone's got to be able to pull it out. And if I can help pull it out, I'll help you.
Yeah, I mean, people need an accountability partner, and you can be that partner. So if you're here in the United States, 610-324-5545. If you're outside the United States, I think it's, well, you don't want them calling you on that. Forget that. No. Are you on WhatsApp?
I am on WhatsApp. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have that? WhatsApp? Is it? I don't know how that works.
I think they just, I don't know how that works. I don't know if it dials right to that number or what. I'm not sure.
I think you have to do 01161. I don't know. But anyway, 610-324-5545. The event's coming up. It's in August of 2025, which is literally around the corner. Justin's going to have a link for people to go ahead and register. I'll be there. You're going to be there. It's going to be a great time. I like to be out on the ice, but I can't skate.
Now I was going to say you could be on my line. We could play together.
I can't skate, so it's not going to be happening. But I'll be. I don't know. Maybe I'll be broadcasting. How about that?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I actually that's what I'll do. We'll be broadcasting. So
that'd be fantastic.
All right. Again, 610-324-5545 in the United States. On WhatsApp, we don't know, but
and I'm dead serious. If you need a push, you need advice, call.
Yeah, don't be afraid. That's what we're here for: education, hope, and inspiration. So, Justin, we're closing out now. I've really enjoyed this episode. I'm super excited to chat with you now that we're in the same state. We'll be getting together, I'm sure. Yeah. So, take care of yourself. Everybody else, take care.
No hair products this time.
I love that. That's awesome.
First time on TV without hair products.
You're doing it all natural. You're doing all the right things. All right. Bye to everyone. Bye, Justin.
Take care, everybody.
See y'all again. Bye-bye.
Bye.